Welcome to our week 84. This is our Q&A where you can ask questions. Tonight, the big question is it okay to store seeds in the freezer or the fridge? That is the big question of the night, and we will get to that in just a few minutes. So there's 9 ways that I help people to grow food. I have a YouTube channel. I have my weekly Q&A on Thursday nights, 7 Pacific time. I have a Patreon channel. This is me in my garden doing garden work. And I do videos and I write articles to help you have the best garden of your entire life. I'm a soil laboratory so that we can look at the microbes in the soil to see if you will have a functioning soil or if you will need to be addicted to all kinds of pharmaceuticals in order to grow food. I am the teacher of the Georgic Schoolroom, and this is a 17-week class. I also do 3-day boot camps, and I am available for consulting for your farm and your garden to help you have the best food ever. I just finished writing my book this last year, Worry-Free Eating. It's available on Amazon. Get your copy so that you can become ecologically literate. If you're not getting my newsletter, then go to www.georgicrevolution.com and sign up to get my newsletter so that we can help you have the best food in the whole world. My summer class is called the Georgic Schoolroom. And this class is starting on May 20th, 2024, and it goes through September 14th. We have housing for you here on site, Clover Valley, Nevada, just south of I-80. And we will teach you all you need to know. This will be our 3rd year. Our first year we had 2 students. Our second year we had 3 students. I mean 4 students. Okay, so we learned soil health, regenerative agriculture, permaculture, biodynamics, holistic management, silvopasture, Georgics, ecological agriculture. And we become ecologically literate, and we learn how to become profitable in modern farming. So go to www.georgicrevolution.com to learn how to sign up for this class. We have a new website as of the last few weeks, and there are fantastic things on there that talk about our class. I want to introduce to you tonight the 5 pillars of the Georgic Schoolroom. This is what the Georgic Schoolroom is built upon. The idea of self-discovery and personal development, homesteading skills, ecological literacy, and then solving a societal problem. We do these things in this class. I've had people recently say, oh, I'd love to come to your class. It sounds so interesting, but I just don't want to garden. I'm not interested in gardening. And my students who have been here before have heard that, and they were frustrated because they thought this class is so much more than gardening. We got to tell people what it actually is. So here's what it is in a nutshell. We use gardening to help you discover who you are and what you are and why you tick and why you react the way you do to certain things. So there's a lot of psychology in the class, which is pretty fun. And then you are able to develop yourself. We have personal development classes and exercises where you become a better human. You become the person you want to be. You're able to achieve your goals. And we do it all by learning the homesteading skills. Because the homesteading skills are the things that we're doing each day to go through these processes. A person could do the same thing with an art class where they set up an easel and they have the paints and they're painting new things every day for 4 months. But we have chosen to use gardening as the major thing. But we really do become ecologically literate because we talk about the realities of the environment and how the human being is a keystone species to make the environment what we want it to be. So we are very much healing the earth in this process. And then each student identifies something in society they don't like, and then we help them to develop a project to solve the problem that they have found in society. And our students have really enjoyed this part of it. In the past, all my students have given a speech at graduation to talk about this and to figure this out. We're not going to do that this year. So if you're scared of public speaking, you don't have to do that this year. Okay, so next, spring boot camp is coming up. So this is a 3-day class where I help you to learn how to grow food. This picture is me in my garden with the boot camp participants, and they are watching and learning. And then we divide up into groups, and people actually get busy and get their fingernails dirty, and we make a fantastic bunch of food. So for 3 days, you learn all the things that I do to grow my food. So where is this? It's in Wells, Nevada, down here in Clover Valley at the Georgic Schoolroom, which is on the Sorensen Ranch. Why do we do this? Because we are learning basic food growing and ecological literacy. If you are interested in the healthiest food ever, then you ought to come to this class, because we teach you how to create the soil in such a way that it grows the healthiest food. And as food has been tested in labs, they're showing that the food grown in the methods that we use is healthier than food that is grown in other ways. So that's pretty awesome. So who's it for? Families, individuals, professionals. It's for anybody interested in gardening and farming. So the boot camp is very much hands-on about how to grow food. In contrast to that, our Georgic Schoolroom is much more on the personal development side of things. So you just have to pick and choose which one you want to do. How do we do this? This is very hands-on. So this is hands-on in the classroom, and it is hands-on in the garden. So we're doing a lot of actual learning. You're going to be learning how to do it by getting into the garden and just figuring this all out. So it works out really well that way. So the details are at my website, www.georgicrevolution.com. So let's get on to our major point tonight, which is how to store seeds. So this is a question, it's a very common question that's asked a lot, of how do I store my seeds? And I've heard the question often of, is it okay to put them in the refrigerator or the freezer? And actually, the very best way to store your seeds is in the darkness, in the dryness, and in the coldness. Is coldness a word? It is now. So heat and moisture and rodents and bugs are killers of seeds. Seeds die very rapidly and very quickly if they get wet and then they dry out. So that's a bad thing. So we need to keep the seeds dry. Rodents getting into seeds will destroy seeds. So if you've got mice around or rats or whatever, they will destroy seeds super fast. And bugs will kill seeds also. The heat will kill seeds. So if you live in a hot climate and you're storing seeds on a shelf in the garage, they will have a much shorter shelf life than if you have them somewhere cold. So I always tell people, keep your seeds dark, keep them cold, keep them dry, keep them rodent proof. So the mason jar is one of the best tools to keep seeds in. Although mason jars can break, so if you don't want the hazard of glass, you can have other types of containers to put it in. Putting seeds in a Ziploc bag is a good idea if you're going to store them in the fridge or the freezer. The freezer is actually the best place to keep seeds. And what I mean by that is they will store the longest. So how long do seeds live? Well, some seeds are very short-lived. Things like spinach, onions, tomatoes, carrots. You only have a couple of years on those ones. So you need to be keeping those in the freezer, and you may get 3 or 4 years out of these guys. If you have them just out where the humidity is able to get to them, so seeds that are in paper packets, humidity can soak through that paper. You've only got a couple of years on these guys. And then some seeds are very long-lived, like beans and corn. We've found beans and corn seed in pots that are hundreds of years old in caves here in North America from the Native Americans, and these seeds were able to be planted. So, and they grew, and they were fine, and now we have fun varieties that were ancient seeds that nobody knew about, which is pretty exciting. All the other garden seeds are somewhere in between these two. but it's very simple on how to grow seeds. Keep them dry, keep them dark, keep them cold. So a freezer is a fantastic place to store our seeds. So that is the end of our presentation tonight. It was short, it was sweet. So we're going to open this up for Q&A. I just want to remind you that this Q&A was brought to you by survivalgardenseeds.com. They carry fantastic heirloom seeds if that is what you are looking for. So, do we have questions tonight? Hello, Ron and Holly, and hello, Ezekiel. It's good to have you with us tonight. Go ahead and unmute and ask your questions if you have any.
Hello, Holly does.
All right, let's go.
We finally built our compost pile last week.
Nice.
So we were very excited about that. And so and we got our compost thermometer in the mail yesterday.
Nice.
So we measured our temperature and it was at 128.
Good.
Yesterday. So then today we measured again, it was 133.
Fantastic.
We're getting close to being 132 is the official range, right? We want to be inside for 3 days.
Yeah, so 131 is
131.
your minimum temperature. And so it needs to be above 131 or at 131 for 3 full days.
Okay, so.
But see, tomorrow when you measure it, it could be at 165 or 185 or 300.
Uh-oh.
So that's not really an uh-oh. What that means is if you are at above like 165 range, 160, if it's getting hot up there, then you don't have to wait the full 3 days.
Right.
Because if it's 165, then you turn it in 24 hours. So you would just turn it the next day. So keep monitoring that temperature every day.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we bought we went to look for a pitchfork to be able to turn it with. And
Okay.
Nobody calls it that anymore. So we looked on the wall at the hardware store and ended up with something like a manure fork or something like that.
Something like that.
But it seemed to work when we were mixing it. So
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so my favorite pitchfork would be like a 6-tine pitchfork. So it has 6 tines.
Right?
That's probably the best one. Some of the manure forks will have 10 or 12, and
yeah,
and if a lot of times those ones are a little bit harder to handle. But anyway, yeah.
But we're excited about our little adventure.
So
Nice.
we actually put some a fencing we had. It was a cattle fence, I don't know, wire.
I don't know. It's
anyway,
just wire fencing of some
wire
kind.
fencing, and then we just had some center blocks to hold it in place. So it's like it's a half circle because we hadn't had a chance to finish it. Now the compost is taken off, but there's a tail out to the front, so that wasn't as hot. So if it's not to the 130, when we move the main pile that is at 160 or whatever, do we just throw that other on top that didn't get to full temperature? Since
Yeah, so here's what you're gonna do. Your outside and top areas that are not as hot, you're always gonna put those in the middle every time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So when you take that apart, like when you start to turn it, take your top and sides off, move them to the side, and then when you start your new pile, you're taking that hot center, and that goes on the bottom of your new pile. Okay.
Okay.
And then the outsides and top that was cool, put that in the center, and then the bottom of your old pile, put that on the top. And so keep that same rotation every time. And if you forget that, it's in the book that you've got.
Yeah. Yeah. I already have it marked in my book.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're excited because it's actually working. So
yeah, that's good.
We think it's a pet like sourdough. I'm not sure now. Is it like a pet where you have to, got to take care of it,
Yeah, that's right, man. Just like sourdough. Same organisms in your compost are going to be in the sourdough.
Oh, funny. True. Oh boy. Yeah. So we'll keep you posted.
Nice. Okay, perfect. All right. Do you have any other questions, Ron or Holly?
Anything else?
That was our main thing right now. We have some more plastic seed we need to throw out because there's a section didn't get any before. So we had to buy some new. And the Andrew Seeds near us has seeds that were developed in this area. And so we ended up getting mix of rangeland and dry pasture seed because we were trying to get more species. And their dry pasture seed only had 4 things in it. They were all grass.
Okay.
And so then we got the rangeland, and that also has now alfalfa. So it has a cereal, and seems like it has something else. But anyway, I was trying to get more species because it seemed like we didn't have enough with just the grasses from the other seeds.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Yeah. You want a lot of grasses, you want a lot of forbs, you want a lot of legumes.
Mm-hmm.
So all the different things are fantastic.
Okay.
Hey, good.
Awesome. Yeah, fun.
Thanks.
All right, we'll keep you posted.
All right, thank you. Okay, Ezekiel, do you have any questions tonight? Ezekiel, are you there? Do you know where your mute button is?
Sorry, my fingers are covered in flour and they wouldn't register on my phone to unmute me.
That's funny. The man who makes his living with fixing people's computers couldn't turn off the mute button.
You know, you should be nice to me.
I know. Thank you.
No, I actually do have a question though.
right.
I want to plant mushrooms in my garden and get the kind that I can eat. So I've done some research and I've decided on wine caps because they look really good. And I was wondering what your thoughts are on like growing big flowering mushrooms in the garden. Are those the kind that you actually want? Because I do have ink caps coming up naturally, but they don't taste very good. You can eat them, but they don't taste very good. And so I wanted to get some, and I'm just wondering, like, should I be inoculating with something that's not edible, that's better? I just have thoughts on that.
Yeah, always inoculate with the edibles. That's fantastic. The thing when it comes to fungus, you got to be careful. There's a lot of lookalikes out there. So, and I know that you've been studying and you know what you're doing, but just for the recording and those watching this on YouTube, be extremely careful inoculating with edible mushrooms because you may have a flush of beautiful mushrooms come up and you think that they're the ones that you inoculated with, but they may not be. They may be something that's a little bit different that has toxicity in it. And so we don't want anybody to eat something thinking it's edible when it's going to toxify your body, make you sick, possibly even end your life. That would be a terrible disaster. And that can happen in the fungal family. So you need to make sure that you know what you're doing. If you think you know what you're doing, you don't know. You have to actually know. This thinking is not a good enough education. So join a mushroom club, find a mentor in your area, and learn and understand that. But yes, Ezekiel, to answer your question, inoculate with as many of the edibles as you can because, fungus is fungus. It's all good in your garden system. Well, the ones that are disease causes are not good, but they're not going to be growing anyway if you have an oxygenated soil, which is what we are creating. And so that's not an issue. Yeah, that's a good idea. Charles Dowding has a fantastic video online where he's out there and he's showing his gardens and walking through just the way he does his videos. And he bends over and says, "Oh, look at this! There's a mushroom," and he plucks it and takes it to the kitchen, which is pretty great. And that's what we should be doing. The mushrooms should be a free gift from nature for us, but we certainly need to have an education because the fungal family can be pretty toxic to our bodies if we don't know what we're seeing when stuff comes up. And frankly, and just to be totally honest, I don't know about the fungus. So we have some beautiful mushrooms here that grow every year, and I'm about 99% sure that they would be fantastic to eat, but I don't know, so I don't eat them because I want to live a long and prosperous life. So, that's room for me to learn more. Okay, any more questions? We have time for one more question if you want to ask it, if you've thought of something.
Outside of a greenhouse where you can really get a lot of steamers and increase your humidity, if you wanted to do humidity over a few mushrooms locally, so that they'd actually flower and sprout and get a fruiting body, because a lot of them need a lot higher humidity than what we get here in the West, what would you do? Like if you knew they were good to eat and you needed to increase your humidity to 70% for 24, 48 hours, what would you do? How would you handle that?
You're saying not in a greenhouse. Wow, good luck. I guess turn the irrigation on and let everything get wet for a while. I don't know. That is not a good answer. If you live in the arid West and you're not in mushroom country, I simply don't know. I mean, you could just put misters out there. Just you can just buy misters from any irrigation supply. Turn it on and it's just misting along the ground. Set up a 1/4-inch line going up and down your garden beds every 2 feet or whatever, and have it on a watering system so it turns on every 10 minutes and it mists for 1 minute every 10 minutes. That wouldn't put a lot of water out there like it running a sprinkler, but it would certainly keep the humidity higher, and it would keep the surface of the ground moist. And you might have a flush of mushrooms doing that. Totally off the top of my head, I don't know if that's the right answer, but it is fun to talk about, so thank you. All right, I'm just reminding you, this was brought to you by Survival Garden Seeds. Check out their website for fun heirloom seeds. Good night. Same link, same time next week, and see you later. Thanks for being on tonight.
Bye.
Mhm.